the man of the hour, a man with an air of great power. He didn't come all the way to the Mile High City. I don't know if he's been to a dispensary yet, because he might not be into that kind of thing, but I know that we're about to get high off his knowledge. So everybody, put your hands together for the one and only Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Oh, wow. Thank y'all very much for that warm introduction. You know, I'm gonna tell you what. I got to be honest. I'm a little bit embarrassed, even with the term "man of the hour." You know, I don't deserve that. I will accept it humbly, but I want you guys to know that I am such a fan and a believer in those black women that were up on the stage just now. You know, I mean, can y'all please give a round of applause for Vicky and Misha? And I think that it really speaks to the fact that we got to check ourselves when we are assuming that the black messiah, or whatever that looks like, is going to be a male. Wow. You know, we've got a lot of opportunities to lead, and we've done all right. We've done a decent job. But we have not done what we're supposed to do when it comes to supporting our sisters when they have a greater capacity to lead. We have not done that. And here's the other thing about the comment Vicky made about the black identity extremists. When they're talking about the idea of the black messiah, I think that we got to really even question just that concept. You know, are we really looking for a messiah? Is that really what's going to get us there? One big, gigantic super Negro who's going to carry us to the promised land? No. The black messiah is in all of us. This is the black messiah. There's no one human being on earth I've ever seen who could simulate the amount of energy that's just in this room right now. There's nobody that can do that. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you don't understand what you're observing right now, you are observing black history. You are observing what people saw in the 1960s, except you're seeing 1960s 2.0. Black Panthers, Malcolm Martin 2.0. You're seeing a movement where we are building on what was done in the past, learning from the mistakes of the past, learning what we can do when we work together, learning about how to not fall for the okie doke, understanding the value of our dollar, understanding where the real power is located, not being distracted, not being misled, not being fooled, not being intimidated, understanding how to really secure a community and build the kind of nation that we need. And this is history. I need you to really make sure you're taking pictures and video, because this is something you will tell your grandkids about in 30 or 40 years. I guarantee you that much. There's no question about it. There are little people in this room, like this little brother right here. He's going to grow up and become some extraordinary man, and he's going to say, I am this man today because I grew up as a part of the movement. And when he says the movement, people will know exactly what he's talking about. They're going to say, oh my God, you met Michi X, you met the Michi X, you met the Vicky Dillard. That's what they're going to talk about. Because I told Michi, I said, listening to y'all two is like Malcolm and Farrakhan. You know, this is so good. This is so great. You know, I never met Malcolm, of course. I'm not old enough. I sat with the minister a few times, and once I had the honor to just sit with him privately for about 3 hours, and I was so stunned that this 80-something-year-old man had so much fire and could maintain that fire for the entire time. Talking to him one-on-one was just like hearing him in a speech. It just blew my mind. And so, you know, so when I see these extraordinary individuals in our community, you can't tell me that we also don't have women that can operate at that same level. And I'm really also calling out the black men, the non-moist men, as Sister Vicky refers to them as, to really understand the importance of supporting that in every way that we possibly can. You know, I'll tell you the reason that we went on the Fly Nubian Queen project and made that move was because, you know, I said, we lose as a community because we are not utilizing our best resources. You know, when they talk about diversity, when they encourage corporations to become more diverse, you need to hire more people of color and all that stuff, which they never do. You know, they always tell them that if you have a diverse workforce, if you have a diverse group of leaders, a diverse set of ideas at the table, you're going to be a better organization. Well, in our community, we lack that diversity, because you can't really, you can't really tell me, who are the leading black female attorneys in our country. Everybody knows about Johnny Cochran and all that stuff, but nobody can tell you who the leading black female attorneys are. Can you tell me about people like Dr. Venetia Dutra, who's here, who's one of the few black women on the planet who has a PhD in finance? She lives right here in Denver. And the sister knows her stuff. Everything that any white man knows about real estate, she knows at least 3 times more than that. Okay? And so what we really have to do is really think about this and just sort of what this is going to look like. And I'll tell you what, I did not know. I did with this event, I had no idea what it was going to look like. No idea. It literally just kind of came from God. God just said, hey, Boyce, you're going to Denver. Y'all should do something. Michi's there, Vicky's there, all these great people are there. You should do something. I said, okay, well, I'm going to do something. So I hit Michi up. I said, can we do something in Denver? Can you find us a place where we can just gather in Denver? This is about a week ago. That just tells you about my extraordinary planning skill. And I said, we just going to figure it out. We're going to fuck this shit up. So whatever it is, let's make it happen. And here we are. This is what it is. This is the result. So thank them for this. They pull it in. And also I want to say thank you to the Brother Jeff for allowing us to come to this space. Yeah, that means a lot. That means a lot. When you go to different cities, it's tough because everything costs money. Everything's expensive. And then you get the people out there to get mad because the ticket costs $20. But yeah, you done went to Walmart and dropped $250 last week, but you mad because the black business got to charge $20 so they can pay for the venue. Well, we were able to do this for free largely because of Brother Jeff, and so that's important. Now let me kind of nail this down in terms of some stuff to walk away with. The number one thing to walk away with in this event is that when we leave, this energy that's in this room, what we see right here, this has to be reflective of the Black Denver community. This cannot be a special occasion. This can't be a one-time thing. This can't be I'm honored and flattered if you came out, to see me or to see all of us together or whatever it is. But I really need you to really check yourself and challenge yourself to be an active participant in everything that's happening in this community that matters to you. I mean, I really need you to do that. And that means that, when we're done with tonight, we have to sort of use this as a benchmark to understand what this can look like every night. In fact, there's a list being passed around. Everybody put your email address in there so you can all remain connected. Also, if you pull out your phone and you text the word Queens, Queens with an S at the end, to 31996, we can send out a text alert whenever something's going on here, whatever the case may be, okay? And also the other thing is Michi and Vicky are speaking every single night on FlyNewBeingQueenTV.com, and they are absolute fire every single day of the week. And it's beautiful media because there's nobody. I said I don't know of anybody anywhere that's doing anything like this anywhere. Most of the people I see on TV that look like us are just fake as hell. They're not interesting. They're talking about some other crazy shit, and it just drives me crazy. I hate it. It's annoying. I said these are not the black women I know. These are not real black women to me. I don't know what planet they come from, but these are not real women. The real women I know are women like that. The Michi, Vicky, Dr. Dutra, et cetera, Bianca. These are the people that I grew up with. These are the women that guided me and made me into who I was. And I learned a long time ago that as a man, you can't do anything or be anything without the black woman. You can't. In fact, I'm just patently confused and offended by the fact that you have this weird thing going on in so many parts of the country where so many men don't want nothing to do with black women. Just put them at the bottom of the barrel, and it never computed to me. It never made sense. I remember asking a brother about that, a football player, when I was teaching, or I wasn't teaching, I was a student at University of Kentucky, and I was like, what is with the white girls? Like, why are you chasing these white girls? I just didn't understand it. That's like trying to have sex with an animal or something. Like it didn't make. I'm not, no disrespect. I'm not trying to be mean, but it just literally, I just never got it. I didn't really get it. And his answer wasn't satisfactory. It didn't make sense to me. But I really just think it's a strange kind of mental illness that some of us have been infected with. And I think we got to start calling some of that out. I think we got to talk about that in an honest way. We have to. Now let me mention this as well. I heard a mention of a lot of different organizations in the community that are doing excellent work, and what I really want you to consider. This is not me telling you what to do. I'm not in the business of telling anybody what to do, but I really want you to consider another reason why it's very important that we have women in leadership roles in addition to the men. We're not putting the men to the side. We're just saying we need the kingdom to have the king and the queen and everybody have their power. Is because sometimes with us as men, we have this thing called an ego that gets a little bit out of check. Now we know women can have their egos too. It's not just a male thing, but sometimes for men, power can be a drug, and that drug can cause you to kind of do some things that might not be ethical, or maybe use your power in ways that are not productive to your purpose, and also it can cause you to play yourself. You know, I mean, just things like a lack of sexual discipline or a lack of financial discipline or wanting to go and make it rain at the strip club or whatever people do. You've seen it happen with politicians or whatever. These are the things that bring men down. And so if you are a man and you're tempted to use whatever space you have, whatever platform or whatever, to make yourself into that black messiah, you must understand the vulnerability that comes with that and the importance of forming coalitions, particularly with other individuals who can bring balance to whatever it is you're trying to do. Because testosterone is a crazy thing. And I have seen a lot of young people, for example, Kwame Kilpatrick out in Detroit. I felt like Kwame was a smart man, probably a good politician, I guess. I don't trust any politician, but he seemed all right. But, he kind of was feeling himself a little bit. And he was kind of getting into stuff a little bit. And again, no disrespect to him or anything, but there's something about it where you get that money, you get that power, and sometimes men lose our way. And it's not just the black leaders. Bill Clinton did it too. I mean, the man was getting oral sex in the Oval Office. You busy, you trying to make world peace and settle disputes in the Middle East and fix the whole economy, and you got time, but you always got time to get a blowjob from a 24-year-old intern, right? So for men, I think it's important that we support female leadership so that we can have that balance. And also, as men, you can't sort of follow the bad leadership models that have occurred in the past. You see, because if all the power is locked up in one man, then it's easy to kill a movement. All you got to do is take out the man. It works. It works like a charm. They say, oh, Dr. King, he's the black messiah. He's guiding all these millions of people. Let's go make sure he's dead by next week. Malcolm X, same thing. Now, to this day, you still have prominent black men who are in the messiah mode, and it's okay. It's I ain't trying to start no beefs. I had enough of those beefs, and I ain't here for beef. I'm a vegetarian now. But you see still some older leadership, some younger leadership going into the one black Superman messiah model of black leadership, which we know does not work. It does not work. All they got to do is cause the people who follow you to lose faith in you, and they can kill everything you worked for your whole entire life. All it takes is one crazy ex-girlfriend to make a fake allegation or whatever happens, and they destroy everything. All it takes is for them to discredit you, poison you, whatever they want to do. They can kill everything with one slick little move. And so ultimately, the idea of partnership, and this was something I thought about for many years, it came from me as a younger man pushing to say, Boyce, get over yourself. Get over yourself. This ain't about you. This is not about you. This is not about you. We must find ways as organizations to work together on some level. It does not have to be intricate. You can still have your power. Fellas, you can still have your swag, because men need to feel strong, and you need to feel respected, and I respect every single one of you leaders who are in this room and everybody listening on the internet. You have the respect, and you will get that. You will get that. Good women naturally respect determined, dedicated, intelligent, hardworking men. You're gonna get that. But what you must learn how to do is to keep that ego in check, share power, and always remember that you must always remember that you are a part of something that is greater than yourself. What we're doing is greater than any one of us. So a basic idea that can be applied in this community and communities all across the world. We're not just talking about this here in Denver. If it works in Denver, it can work in any city in the world. Not in the United States, in the world. It can work in Kingston. It can work in London. It can work anywhere in the world. So what I want you to do is to find some basic things that you can align on as organizations and provide mutual support. So that might mean, it doesn't mean that, okay, we got to meet every single week and we got to form one big umbrella organization. If you want to do that, that's cool. Try that. If that's in your heart. But at the very least, maybe you all say, look, we're going to pick the 6 points on the Black agenda. We're going to debate it a little bit, make sure that it's tight, make sure it looks like the way we want to look like, and we're all going to print it out and put it up on our office wall so that we're all in agreement that these are the key points that matter for our community, and this is what we're all consistent on. Also, remember, what you give really does become what you give back. The best way to network, the best way to work with others is to start off the conversation not by thinking, what can you do for me? You must think, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Let me support you. Can I help promote you? What do you want me? You want me to bring my people to your thing? Because here's the thing. When you're showing that kind of love, it becomes reciprocal. That's right. It becomes reciprocal. When you're showing mad love and you're always supportive and you're always finding a way to help and doing whatever you can, good people will always return that. Some people won't, and that's okay. That's their problem. That's their issue. But good people will reciprocate and reflect whatever love you're showing toward them. So let's find a way to work together. Let's get under that common agenda and let's move some things forward. Now, let me give you something that you can also carry away with. This is something that we believe in deeply in the Black Business School and everything we do. This is our reason for existing. It's what we call the Black Core of Three. It means that we believe Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black business. We believe we should do that. We can do that. We will do that. Speaking on education, I find it really fascinating that we believe that we don't have the money to create our own school system when we literally gave Disney $500 million in about a week when they came out with that movie. So you can fund a movie, but you can't fund education? And then you wonder why you in last place? You wonder why you lost? That's what we call economic immaturity. Economic immaturity is a concept that I came up with in my head to kind of reflect the fact that you have people that will go pay for the things they want and then go beg for the things they need. So you got money for the new shoes, but when it comes to the tutoring program for your kids, you got to beg somebody to give it to you for free because you can't afford it, right? And it goes back to childhood, right? And it's immaturity because think about a 7-year-old. If you give a 7-year-old $50, and you say, what are you going to do with that $50? What are they going to say? Are they going to say, oh, well, I got to make sure I help out with the light bill, and then I got to, the rent's due, and so I'm going to make sure I put the money on the rent, right? My 401k, I got to catch up on that. Like the 7-year-old isn't going to say that. The 7-year-old is going to say, I'm going to get some candy, I want to get a new toy, right? That's what a child does. Well, one of the challenges, and this is you got a lot of this thinking from those white liberal allies that you love so much. One of the challenges in the community is that we have a big problem with economic immaturity. We are very happy to go spend money on things that we don't necessarily need, especially on Black Friday where you're tackling somebody to get a big screen TV. But we have a reluctance to fund the things that are necessary for us to grow as a community. Why? Well, because somebody told you that your education was supposed to be free. They told you, oh, you're poor, you're pathetic, you're just weak little black people. You're like the disabled kid in the back of the class. Like, nobody expect a handicapped kid to be able to do nothing. So you're like, yeah, I'm the handicapped kid. I'm the kid in the wheelchair. I can't do nothing for myself. That's how you think about yourself. So when it comes time to talk about things like education, you're not ready to do what I've seen Arab, Indian, and Asian, and Nigerian families do. They will go spend their last dollar to put their children in special educational programs to make sure their child is at the top of the pile. For us, it's like, well, that costs too much, and the public school, we should get that for free. Okay, yeah. Well, you send your child to that public school, you're going to get exactly what you paid for. You'll get exactly what you paid for. Absolute garbage. And I'm going to tell you, at the end of the day, I have zero patience for sitting around waiting for anybody to fix these damn schools. They ain't never going to fix these schools. They don't want to fix these schools. All we got to do is build a school. Why is that so difficult to understand? Why is it that we somehow think that there's some magical formula that comes when it comes to educating a child? There is no magic formula. You can educate dozens of kids in this room with the people in this room right now. I bet if we compiled everything we know and then threw in the University of YouTube, we could educate our children on anything that we want to know. Anything. And do it better than any of the schools out here. Better. Not as good, not half as good, better. Why is that important? Because I want you to let go of these stupid, retarded little watered down terms like equality and diversity and inclusion and all this other nonsense. No. I want to win. I never played, when I played football, I never started the game hoping that we could tie. I don't do that. I want to bust you in your mouth. I want to make you cry. I want to score touchdowns, and I want to do a stupid dance in the end zone after I humiliate you in front of your girlfriend. Black people have that in us, and that's why people are afraid of us. That's why they work so hard to control us. That's why they've been able to capitalize from us being misguided about who the hell we are. So educate your own kids. Number 2, create your own jobs. You must create your own jobs. This is a long-term project. This is a generational project. This is the generation where we teach our children almost like soldiers, like young soldiers who grow up in the middle of a war, and they may not necessarily feel like they need to pick up a gun, but the battle came to them, and to defend their homeland, they have to learn how to fight. Well, for black folks, war has been declared on you since the day you're born. Your children are born in the middle of a war, and so all of our soldiers must be ready to fight. What does that mean? That means that every black child in America and beyond must be trained on the fundamentals of starting their own business by the age of 12. That should be a rite of passage. Why? Well, because the ability to create your own institutions and your own systems can protect you from being a tool in somebody else's system. If you can't create a system, then another system will be created that will control you. They will drop you in another system, and all the systems in America are the same white supremacist systems that are controlled by the very same people who didn't even want you to be born in the first place. They wanted your mother to abort you. That's why they put the abortion clinics on every block in the black community. You don't believe me? Go read the history, Margaret Sanger and all that stuff. It's right there. It's in black and white. But it's hard to see it if you've learned to just trust white people that much. So at the end of the day, I don't want to hear like, well, you know, Dr. Boyce, you know, and not everybody's cut out to run their own business. Okay, yeah, but not everybody's cut out to be a slave either. I mean, do you understand the health effects of enduring racism on a day-to-day basis? Do you understand that? There's a Harvard professor, a brother, I forgot his name, but this brother did a study. He said that racism causes black people, especially black men, to die much earlier than they would have had they not had to endure that kind of environment. And it's not like big incidents of racism, like big traumatic situations, like you saw somebody get shot, stuff like that. That happens and that has an effect. He said, no, actually it's the little stuff, the little microaggressions. That's what they call it. They intellectualize it. If you ever want to see like an interesting conversation, get a bunch of corporate Negroes together and at a restaurant and start talking about little microaggressions and what white people are doing to them on their job. And they'll just talk all night long because that's how we've learned to exist. That's how we've learned to survive. We haven't learned how to actually solve problems or heal the situation. We've just learned to do what we've done for hundreds of years, which is to survive in the midst of tyranny and terrorism. That's what we are. They should have a show called Survivor, and there should only be black people on it. Because we are the ultimate survivor. We can survive anything. So I don't want us to survive. I need us to thrive. Because the thing about surviving that abusive relationship that you have with white America, that ugly marriage you have with white supremacy, is that you never reach your full potential because you're always spending your time not creating a vision for yourself, but most of your time is spent reacting to the actions of somebody else. There's nobody more sensitive in the world than black people when it comes to all they got. If I'm a white guy and I really want to get the whole black community distracted, I'll go down the street and I'll hang a noose on the door or something. And next thing you know, all the black people, they're going to drop what they're doing so they can all complain about how white people hurt their feelings. Exactly. White people don't bother me. I don't really care what white people are doing. It doesn't matter to me. The only time it matters to me is when you're getting in the way of progress. When you come and we build Black Wall Street and you come to attack it and we got to go and deploy the self-defense mechanisms that Michi talked about, then that becomes an issue. But outside of that, I don't really care what you're doing. I don't need you to like me. I don't need you to acknowledge me. I don't need you to validate me. I don't want your awards. I don't want your fancy jobs. I don't want none of that shit. I don't care. It takes time to get to that place. It's very hard. It's very hard for those of us who were raised with the slave mentality because it's kind of depressing because the old you has to die for that new you to be born. You got to kill off so many things that you were raised to believe in, so many ideas that you hold dear. It's very difficult. So it's okay if it takes time. In fact, when you run into the black folks that don't quite get it, it's all right. Just, forgive them for they know not what they do. They're sick. They're sick. I had this lady, she was, I think she was biracial. She used to work with me. And I think she really wanted to be white. I think that was her dream. And I remember when I first got the job at Syracuse University, I remember I said, I noticed that there were only 3 of us. Literally, there was 100 professors that got hired at the same time. 3 of us were black. We didn't all get hired at the same time. I'm sorry. There were 100 professors in the school, and 3 black people were hired at once, almost like the Little Rock Nine. Like, that's kind of what we were. Like they were like, there's no black people here. We order you to hire black people, right? So all the white folks were pissed. They didn't want us there, and we didn't know. We just came in. And so me and the brother, we kind of were cool, but the sister she kind of distanced herself. Like I try to say, talk to her and say hi, and she kind of walk away, and I'd be like, I'd be thinking, did my breast stink? Like, like what? And so I remember I called her up on the phone one day. I said, I'm gonna clear the air. I'm gonna just make sure she, maybe she thinks I'm trying to thought, something inappropriate might be happening or something. This was way before Me Too, but I was still, even then I was cautious, and then now with Me Too, I wouldn't even have a conversation at all. but I was like, well, I just want you to know, I don't want anything in particular. I'm not trying to hit on you, nothing like that. I just want to make sure that the channels of communication are open so we can kind of, talk and work together as the small number of black people on this campus. And I said, because, I kind of thought that you were deliberately avoiding the other black people. And she said, well, actually I was. And I was like, really? And I was like, why is that? And she said, because I really don't want to be seen as kind of just hanging out with the black people, you know. And so, you know, I mean, I was pissed. I mean, you get one shot. After that, I'm like, well, whatever. So we hung up, and 6 years went by where we did not talk for 6 years. You know, you only got to tell me once. After that, I was like, you know, good luck to you. And I was assuming that this whole like being white thing was really working out for her. Like I really thought, like, hey, this is great. You know, I wish I could do what you do. This is awesome. You know, because I'm going through hell, right? I'm fighting with left and right, going through all kinds of shit, about to get fired. I thought they might assassinate me on my way to work. And but you know, but she like did stuff I didn't do. Like she would, you know, like go to their kids' birthday parties, and she knew where they lived, and I didn't know where any of my colleagues lived. I didn't go to their kids' birthday. I didn't know if they had kids. I didn't care. You know, so again though, my own racial trauma and distrust, you know, kind of came out. Like I was kind of like, I don't really know what, like you said hello. What you mean by hello? You know, so I was probably not the easiest person to work with. I'm telling you, racism makes you crazy. It makes you crazy, okay? And so I saw this sister on the elevator one day, and we're just on the elevator being all appropriate. I'm like, hello? And she's like, hi, how are you? And we're just quiet, don't say a word. 6 floors, don't say a word. So I walk off the elevator, and I start walking to my office. And she's walking behind me. And then I make a left, and she makes a left, and I'm looking back like, and then I walk in my office, and I'm about to shut the door. She grabs the door and comes in and shuts the door. And I'm like, what the fuck do you want? You know, like, and she's like, and she was like, Boyce, let me tell you what these white people are doing to me. And it just kind of blew my mind. And so you know, to kind of close that story, there's more I could tell you, but I don't want to make it, sound like I'm bashing anybody or trying to be negative. But, you know, I had to learn to forgive. I realized that sometimes people have to go through certain experiences to be ready for the battle. You know, I don't know what kind of man I would be if white people had been wonderful to me my entire life. You know, I mean, think about this. I mean, really, I said to my friend, I said, you know, I'm probably going to sound like a coon right now, but I'm still going to say this. I said, racism, yeah, I need that coonskin cap. Because I said, but really, racism was one of the greatest blessings that I ever experienced, because it really pushed me to be the best man that I could be. It pushed me, you know, to do things I never would have done. You know, and it sounds weird to say that. It's not like I'm saying thank God for racism. That would be too much. But it's almost like, you know, when Dr. Claude Anderson talks about how during segregation we had so many more businesses than we had. Our families were staying together. Our kids were better educated. It's almost like I wish you had never even like let me into the house. Yeah, because if I'd been forced to build my own house, I would have a house. I wouldn't be living in your basement right now. Right? So really, you know, when you go out the door and walk down the street and you see a white man, just you might want to say thank you. Thank you for being white. Because in the midst of this, in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the pain, the devastation, the disappointment, the emotional trauma of racism, I think that we are producing the greatest group of human beings in the history of this world. You cannot get to heaven if you ain't ready to go through hell. You can't get to heaven if you ain't ready to die, ready to fight, ready to go through some trauma. You can't get the gain if you're not ready for the pain. So we have overpaid in the pain category. Now it's time to benefit from all that sacrifice and investment, and that's what's going to make us great. I'm done now. I don't have much else to say. I just want to say that I hope that today is not the last day that we do this. I want to say thank you again to those of you who took the time to come out here tonight. We are not worthy of you, but I'm honored that you give us your time. Also, I want us to just understand that we are such a select group of people because we've overcome things that would have killed most groups of people on this earth. Remember, you're the survivors of the Middle Passage. You're the survivors of 250 years of the worst slavery known to the history of man. You're survivors of mass incarceration and Jim Crow. And so when people talk about black excellence representing some concept of black genetic superiority or whatever, I don't doubt a word that they're saying, because if I were them, I'd be scared of us too. So let's be ready for that fight, and we will win this fight. So let's make this generation one that people remember. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.